Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of HR After Dark. I'm Meghan.
And I'm Marcia.
And we are so thrilled to have an amazing guest here with us today, Bryan Adler of Rothko Law. Welcome, Bryan.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for having us. You're going to have so much fun today. You're just going to sit back and ask a lot of questions.
We already got me half drunk, so it's...
Hey, it's HR After Dark.
We always like to have our cocktails.
It lubricates the sharing spirit.
It's amazing how much you've been sitting there, and we learn a lot about you now.
We sure will.
Now we're going to ask all the best questions about what's going on there. I would love for you to give our viewers and our listeners a sense of what Rothko focuses on, because I think what you're doing is so cool. It's very different.
Thank you.
Tell us about your business.
So I'm a board-certified elder law attorney. My partner and I, Jerry Rothko, we run Rothko Law Group. We're an elder care law firm, but there's some unique aspects to the practice that we're particularly proud of. Aging is really difficult, and I used to be a traditional elder law attorney. I worked at a firm in Bucks County. It was a guy and his wife and a paralegal and me. And it was, the central conceit of it was basic estate planning and get mom in the nursing home on Medicaid, because there's all these tools to protect assets. So you would say to this guy, pay me this much, I'll protect this much, and that's your value. But it abandons people that don't need Medicaid, abandons people that don't need nursing homes, abandons people who primarily are concerned with care, and it turns out that's everybody. Yep. So I was there for like 3 years, and I just was really unfulfilled. And I remember the consult that turned the tide for me. I met with these two sons. Mom had like $400,000, just like a perfect candidate for personal care or assisted living, where Medicaid's not available. It's just private pay. But I convinced them to put their mom in a nursing home, because I was like, if you hire me, I can save all this money. And I watched them drool. They hired me, and I walked out. I just felt dirty. And it was, I knew she'd get fine care. I knew she'd get it paid for. But that's when I called Jerry. It was like that afternoon, and said, I'm leaving my practice. I'm going to start my own in Pennsylvania, similar to what you're doing in New Jersey with care coordinators and social workers and insurance advocates. Will you mentor me? And he said, no. Okay. After a pregnant pause, he said, but why don't you just join me instead?
Wow. So
over the course of several months, we talked about it, and I started the Pennsylvania practice 12 years ago in January. And now, instead of just forcing people into nursing homes on Medicaid, it's getting them the best care possible. So we've got a dozen social workers that help navigate healthcare and long-term care issues, because no one's worried about Medicaid. They don't want the best power of attorney. Getting the best care possible is the goal. Everything else is a tool in the toolkit. We need Medicaid, great. If we don't, we don't. So really, we just work with families who are struggling to navigate an increasingly fractured and broken system, try to tie it together, be on their side of the table.
Yeah. And I think people have no clue where to start.
Everybody waits till the crisis.
Right.
I scream from the rooftops. Get the batteries checked. Just don't wait till you smell smoke or see flame, but 80+% of our clients are in crisis, and that's okay. It's a difficult thing to face, but the earlier you get this planning started, the more you have a relationship with your social work team, the more runway you have to plan with your assets, to make sure you're legally protected, and to have things happen with you, in conjunction with you, and not have things happen to you.
So when does that start, though? Because, I went through this whole thing with my dad 10 years ago, and there wasn't many of you and your practices out there. In fact, there are very, very few. And even when I sat down with him, I thought it was pretty organized. I didn't even know what to ask and go through things. Like, how soon before something happens does someone have to do this? Because time is very limited right now. So what would be like a good rule of thumb?
Number one, that's a great question. And it's one that's difficult to answer, but where I typically advise clients, if you're worried about successful long-term care planning in the event you're going to need care of some kind, as soon as you have a diagnosis, whether it be Alzheimer's, another dementia, Parkinson's, if you've had a TIA or a mini stroke, anything that is likely to recreate itself or deteriorate, you want to start that planning. I met with a family this afternoon. Very early onset cognitive impairment, like very early, perfectly physically healthy. And I sat with him and I said, here are the two options. He needed powers of attorney into will. That's estate planning, and that's fine. It doesn't get me out of bed in the morning. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's just paper. I said, you need this, and here's what we can do. But if you want my real recommendation, it's social work planning. It's a care management plan. It's engaging with our team. He was like, absolutely. Like, why wouldn't I opt for this? Why would I wait for the crisis? So as soon as you have that diagnosis,
so you're not panicking.
Call.
Yeah.
And what do they need to bring with them when they meet with you?
We try to make it as easy as possible. So quick phone call to the office. You'll talk with one of our client services team. What's going on? How'd you find us? What do you need help with? We're going to do a really detailed, we call it a pre-consult. Figure out what's going on. Can we even be helpful? And if not, we'll give you the resources you need to go be help, to find the help.
Yep.
Then they come in, they meet with us, and then we send them a client information form. We're pretty flexible. Just names, addresses, general idea of your assets, your deeds, your existing estate planning documents. We need a picture of how you are clinically and financially, how you are socially and familially, and how you are legally. And as long as you have a decent idea of that, I can advise you. I might zig or zag.
Yeah.
I might make a recommendation once I dive a little bit deeper, say, well, we're going to revise this, but that's okay. Just enough to give me the picture.
So when you go through all that and you get people basically on the right page and getting things moving, I am sure you've been doing this for a while now. Like, what are the trends? What are the things that you are seeing that it's like, wow, what a difference even 5 years ago doing what you're doing today? How much time do we have? The healthcare and long-term care in the United States is deteriorating rapidly. Access to it, the cost of it is astonishing. When I first got into elder law attorney when I was about this big, the average cost of nursing home care was about $8,000 a month. Now it's about $17,000. Oh my gosh.
17?
Yeah, we're seeing between $15,000 and $17,000 a month.
Wow.
Assisted living was about 3 or 4. Now it's around 10.
Wow.
So you've seen the expense, the cost of it jump, and I get why. People are increasingly litigious. The cost of insuring these facilities through the roof. Medicaid reimbursements are really flat. So nursing homes have to charge more to subsidize public benefit recipients. And I get all these levers. That's part of it. We have an immigration crisis. A lot of these caregivers, particularly boots on the ground, they're immigrant caregivers. There are fewer and fewer of them. So we're seeing a caregiving crisis, and you're seeing a financial issue. You can go to Target, you go to Starbucks, you go to Walmart or McDonald's and make 15, 16, 18, 20 bucks an hour. So would you rather check people out at Target, make coffee, or, and forgive the phrasing, wipe someone's ass who's getting worse and possibly more cognitively impaired and less thankful and more challenging? It's an exhausting job.
It is.
It's thankless.
It's a thankless job. Yeah.
And it's low paid, 15 bucks an hour, 18 bucks an hour to do really hard work and care for the ones that are loved ones. You know, Gandhi sat there and said, you can judge a society by how it treats its weakest and most vulnerable members. If we treated our children the way we treat our seniors, we'd be burning Congress to the ground. But here we are.
Yeah. What a shame.
What when it comes to, we're going to talk about your workplace and how you grew, but when you think about employers now, how can they support their teammates with their, whether it's taking care of parents or taking care of loved ones? Like, what type of things do you see getting implemented in the workforce?
Resources.
Yeah.
We are frequently invited to talk to groups.
Yep.
Like, for example, NFL Films in Mount Laurel. They brought us in just to talk to their staff. One of our client service coordinators, Jacinda Graham, and I sat in director's chairs in their auditorium. And there were a couple, maybe 50, 80 people in there. And it was what we do, ask questions, here's a resource. It's about education. It's the healthcare and long-term care is so fractured. You go to a doctor and they say, go see the next doctor.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not all tied together. You go to your physician and he puts you on medication A. You go to your psychiatrist, medication B, and they don't match together.
Yep.
So everything's so broken, it's about tying it together.
Yep.
And having that understanding that there are resources out there to help. And it doesn't have to be an elder law firm. There are geriatric care managers called Aging Life Care Advisors. There's the Corporation for Aging in Philadelphia, the area agencies on aging. There are resources out there. And as frequently as I'm recommending them, they're recommending us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of resources for childcare,
Yeah.
and it's still a problem. It's a major problem in my eyes.
It's a fortune, too.
And but I think that this is a really important topic to bring into the workforce because, you know, once your kids are out of the house, the next person you're taking care of is like a family member.
And Meg, not necessarily. But we're seeing more and more so, to Marcia's question on trends, we're seeing earlier and earlier disease onset, particularly dementia and Alzheimer's. And as you've seen these trends, more and more adults are having children later and later. So I have clients now in their 50s with Alzheimer's, and they've got 10-year-olds at home. Wow. So now it's no longer this sandwich generation where you've got a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old parent. You're a caregiver to a spouse.
Wow.
And to your own children.
Yeah.
So it's becoming increasingly challenging.
It's a really interesting point.
And that's getting harder because they're trying to work. You have basically dual income and all too. It's really difficult to do all that and manage.
There's no doubt.
And I also think it's coming down to being a caregiver, being a parent and all too. But all those trends, the dementia, Alzheimer, all this stuff is off the charts right now.
It's crazy.
And it's figuring out like what is going on that is becoming so rampant. Because when my dad had got diagnosed, he had dementia, and probably around 2014 he was diagnosed with it. And then it just got really bad in 15. And I had to put him in a home, which is one of the hardest things you could ever do.
You feel like you're abandoning your loved one.
Absolutely.
And then how do you even find a help? Like, it's like, where do you start?
Back then, there wasn't many. I only had a few choices. And that's why I made it so hard, because all the ones we looked at were horrible and they stunk. And
it's pretty shocking.
Crazy. Yes.
You can walk into some communities and it can be really deflating. To recognize, but there are many really good ones.
Good ones. Now there are.
Yeah.
Now there are.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a nice upswing, but you can walk in and just be staggering. Like, this is really where I'm going to put my loved one. And it's never, a lot of these places, the unfortunate reality is at $16,000, $15,000, $10,000 a month, the average American doesn't have it.
No.
So they wind up needing public benefits. And in Pennsylvania, with limited exceptions, only in a nursing home.
Yep.
Jersey has some assisted living Medicaid benefits. And just to dispel a myth, a lot of people come to me and say, I'm not going on welfare. I won't go on Medicaid. And I understand that. I completely that's a proud statement. But no one can afford it. 62% of nursing home residents are on Medicaid.
Yep.
We just have to recognize that that's the reality behind it and what we're facing with a population curve like this.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they have to share a room.
Almost always.
Almost always.
Unless the nursing home is only private rooms, when you go on Medicaid, you have to share a room.
Wow.
That's exactly right.
And it's pretty crazy. It was amazing. And back then, for my dad, which I got a new place, it was a brand new place. It was like 25 rooms. We were so lucky. It just got renovated.
Was it locally?
Yeah, it was in Bryn Mawr. And
I know which one it was.
it was the Terrace. And
Yes.
they were wonderful.
My friend Crystal worked there for years. It's a great
It
facility.
was wonderful, and it took such care of my dad. And there's definitely more women than men older like that too. But he just did so well there, and I felt very comfortable. And I was there all the time, as it was. I made friends with all the staff, but
That's helpful, Marcia.
yeah.
It's I hate the phrase "the squeaky wheel gets the grease," but it's just unfortunately true. The more you're there, and that's why we have these advocates on staff.
Yeah.
Our care team is at every care conference for every one of our clients.
Wow.
So if there's an issue, we're going to make it. The
Huge.
care conference is here's what's going on. We know the questions to ask, and often more importantly, we know the right answers.
Yeah.
So we'll say to the family, "This is what was told to you, but this is what we're going to follow up on." So you actually have that advocacy.
Which is so great to have.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what you don't know, you haven't gone through it before. But if you don't have that, it's lonely, it's scary. Are you making the right decisions?
That's right.
My dad was Navy too, and knowing all the benefits
Did you get veterans
for
benefits?
Navy, not until after the fact, no. And I had help. They're like, need this, and you need this, and don't forget you need this. And I was like, I can only have so much time in a day to even ask, the government for documents, all this stuff as well. And that was a pain in the neck as well. And it's just all these things I learned. And so now I try to help people going through it. I'm like, don't forget to this. But it's so
And
great
that's what an
that you're
employer
around.
can do.
Yes. Yes.
It's easy to get frustrated when your employees have sick kids or they're sick themselves or they're out. But you're going to, one, retain employees more. I mean, it's no secret. The more you support them.
Absolutely. Yep.
But if you help them get these resources, it might be a temporary trough for a better peak. Whereas if you just they meander on their own, they're just going to be just whittling away their time.
Yeah.
They're going to be one foot out the door, costing the company money, jeopardizing their own financial security to care for this parent. And it's easy just to dispense and be like, okay, not my problem.
Yep.
Unless your parents are dead, it's going to be your problem.
Yeah.
You bet.
Right. It's not
only
right
that,
in front of them.
There's a guilt that goes with it too, because you want to take good care of them, and they took care of you.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because there's a stat that I saw when I was in there, and I always ask them, I'm like, how is it? There's only like one or two of us that actually visit our parents all the time, and we're like, they don't come in. The kids, and I'm like,
You know why?
no,
It's the guilt.
Big guilt.
really?
It's overwhelmingly.
Oh my
It's the
gosh.
guilt. It's I just can't. I can't see it. I can't do it to myself. And you shouldn't feel guilty about
No.
it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a professional caregiver, a nurse, a physician, a social worker. No one is a caregiver 24 hours a day, whether you're professional or not. You shouldn't feel guilty for seeking help.
Yeah.
This is find the right kind of help.
It's crazy. It was so sad. Actually, I thought the holidays were always so sad because the kids will never come in, which I thought was really amazing. But I love what you're doing for employers, because I really do think that's a big piece
Really
that
is.
is missing in a lot of employers in regards to additional benefits. And it's not even something that they have to pay for. It's basically saying, here's an opportunity. This is available when you need it, and you will need it.
And we have we've written books. We have all kinds of educational materials. We don't believe in advertising or really marketing. We believe in educational marketing.
Right.
So yes, my name is on the front of the book. That it's called a life care plan, but you read it. It doesn't say at the end of the chapter, be sure to call Bryan Adler. It's just each chapter stands on its own, and it's a chapter. There's Medicare, there's Medicare Advantage, there's Medicaid, there's what is a nursing home versus assisted living versus personal care. So you have an understanding of it, and you'll leave armed. If you read that book, you'll be armed with knowledge with no investment other than your own time.
That's so great. And they can find that on Amazon?
Yeah, call the office. I'll send it to you for free.
Oh, great. Okay. And then if they do call the office, where's your office located?
We have 7. Our headquarters are in Trevose, Lower Bucks, Pennsylvania, and Cherry Hill. Then we have fully staffed in Doylestown and satellites in Radnor, Malvern, Center City, Princeton, and Turnersville.
Congratulations.
We moved the mountain to Muhammad. I don't expect elderly people.
A lot.
Yeah, we have. That's a positive. It's just hard to manage.
It is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
What are your challenges with growth?
Maintaining what I believe to be the quality of work. We were talking about this before we started, and my team is great, and they all do great work, but it's reactive or reactionary might be the right word. I don't know if it's good. I just presume it is until I hear of a problem. And fortunately, we don't hear a lot of problems, but one comes up, and then you go down the rabbit hole. Like, okay, I got to read all this stuff, and it always works out, but that's part of it. It's letting go.
Yep.
I think Jerry and I are notoriously choke points. We want to be in control of a lot, and I'm trying to, okay, guys, you're good. Like, go do your work. You don't need to tell me you're going to come in at 9:30. I don't care.
But it probably feels out of control sometimes, like in a way of,
Sure. We also have 7 offices and all too, so it's hard to figure out who's doing what.
Oh, logistics are so annoying.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you feel like Pericles. Like you're always just maybe 1 degree too close to the sun.
Yep.
And it's just fly high, but don't melt your wings.
Yep.
That's a constant challenge, I feel.
Oh.
That's Pericles, right?
Yep.
Okay. For those of you in the studio audience, if it's Pericles, could you check in with us?
Yeah, let us know. Dial in, text us.
Or Sisyphus. I think he pushed a rock up the hill. He's some Greek god.
Yeah.
Or Greek story.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
When it comes to engaging your teammates, you have this awesome staff as you continue to grow. Like, what do you do to keep
I'm not the greatest at it, admittedly.
Okay.
I'm a terrible manager.
Okay.
I like to think I'm a good leader, but a very bad manager. I don't handle conflict well. Let me rephrase that. I shy away from conflict. Like, it's not like I get in there and start yelling and screaming. It's just like, oh, this is going on. Someone else deal with it. Like, that's troubling for me.
Find a forte.
Exactly. And I try to bring in good, strengths finders. Do what you do well. Don't do what you do poorly. Mm-hmm. But we try to do a quarterly team building. We did this huge IT migration in October. It was awful. Ultimately, we're through it. But we brought a massage therapist in, so everyone got a massage. Like they did chair massages for the day.
Yep.
We do happy hours. We'll go bowling. We hosted a movie screening for a documentary about Lewy body dementia. We invited all the staff to bring your families.
Oh, nice.
So we had dinner, and then we all watched the movie together. We try to do things like that. I try my best to keep them informed. It's not always easy. And it's a delicate balance. When we were smaller, everyone sort of had a say. Like, it was just easier to communicate things. Now it's sort of like it's more difficult to, like, well, who needs to know this? And I realized just in January, Jerry and I do a partners meeting at the end of the year. Then we go over the year in review and the year ahead, and we set these goals for ourselves. And then we just we know them. I was like, I need to sit down with other lawyers. And I was like, guys, I've been failing you. Here are our goals. This is what we want for the year. This is what we want for the quarter. Here's what we want for the month.
Yep.
Here's new revenue. Here's existing revenue. Here's how we want to grow. Here's where we have gaps. I never done that before.
Yep.
And it was my own fault. It just was, I think someone at Entrepreneurs Roundtable was like, you need to do that.
You tell them what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder of how little I actually know and how much you need to educate yourself when it comes to team building and team management.
And being vulnerable and authentic and owning it and say, I should have told you this. And I feel like that's what we try to do here, is to say when we don't know stuff and say, last week we had a conversation that, I feel like maybe I wasn't providing enough day-to-day tactical manager support.
Yeah.
And I'm owning it. Not that I'm a bad manager, but I'm owning it.
Yeah. And you're learning from it.
Yeah. And then you do something about it. You figure out a way to get creative of who can take that spot then, and how can you realign roles and, have some type of outcome.
And just let it go.
Yep.
Like recognize, our marketing director is fantastic. Her name is Laura Nelson. She's really strong. Our client service, actually, all of our team is really strong. I should lump everyone in there. On marketing, if someone emails me and says, we'd love to do a community seminar, a community education event, great, no problem. I'm forwarding this message to our marketing team. I don't ever have to follow up on it. I know it's going to get done.
Yeah.
Client services. Someone emails me and goes, Bryan, I need to meet with you to talk to my parents. I'm going to send it to client. They're going to take care of it. I know that there isn't a single person on my team from top to bottom where if I send them something to take care of, I ever have to double check it.
That's awesome.
And that's new.
Yeah.
We've had some missteps. There are people who aren't with us anymore, and they're not with us for a reason. And I'm sure we'll have those problems in the future, but it's a comforting feeling to know, like, okay, this is getting done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my first full week vacation in 10 years last year. So I'd never taken a full week off, and I was at ease because I knew that I've got attorneys running things. I knew I could check in. It was great.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good to
Well,
do
my
that.
wife would say bad for us, but
Yeah, I was going to say.
she's like 9 years
She's
enough,
like,
Brian.
Yeah.
She's like, bring that computer with you, actually.
Can I do it again this year?
The one big beautiful bill came out when she and I were on a longer vacation, and I was just stirring. I couldn't sleep, so I go to the breakfast place, and she comes out and she's like, "How long have you been here?" I'm like, "What time is it?" I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm trying to read this bill. How many pages is it? 6,000." She's like, "Are you into it? How far have you gotten?" I'm like 20 pages in. Like, it's just so dense. Like, I'm going to be here for 3 weeks.
Yeah, like I'll stay here and
Easy.
continue. Yeah.
So she was like, good. She pats me on the head.
That's
and
what Claude's for.
figures
Oh,
off.
totally.
That's what
Put it in a
Claude's
claw and say, sum it up.
How do you find good people? Because it's not it's not a practice that people go to college, go to law school and they say, I want to do
No
this.
one does.
Right? So you fell into it because you need a purpose. So how do you find?
I fell ass backwards into elder law.
Right. And
everybody that we have on our staff, they've come to us 2 ways. They've applied just through the website or through a recruiter, or I forgive the phrase, and we poach them.
Yep.
And there's that in business, like, well, you don't poach other people's employees. That's wrong. I don't think that is. If I present someone an opportunity and they think
Make sure our people are happy before they leave today. Okay.
Actually, I've already got
don't even try
scheduled
it.
for all
Okay,
of them.
I will lock you up.
That's okay. I'd do that. It's a fun place.
Cut it.
Just saying. Just saying.
But I present an opportunity to someone. I say, listen, I think you're really talented. I think you'd be a great fit at the firm. Here's the job. Here's what the pay is. Are you interested? That's not poaching.
Yeah.
No.
It's not poaching if the tiger walks into the cage and says, please drop that behind me. I'd like to live here now. So we've got a lot of good people. Our director of care coordination, I'll never forget the day I met her. It was March of 2014. She walks into a care conference. I remember she was wearing. She opens her mouth, and I was like, I got to hire her. I went back the next day to offer her a job.
Wow.
Now, it took some negotiation.
Sure.
We just hired a new woman, Nicole. She was running a local CCRC. Kathleen and I were super impressed. Took me a year. Convinced her to join us.
Yep.
Our best people come from random advertisements. They come from recruiters, and they come from us knowing them.
Yep.
It's all areas, but really it's the interview. Most people apply for the job. They say, this is why I'm applying.
Yep.
I've dealt with this issue with my mother. They're drawn to it for a reason.
Yep.
They're not looking for a job. And the ones that are looking for a job, they don't last very long. And that's on me.
Yep.
Like, I should have screened it better.
It's okay. That's what we do. Our job all the time as a CEO is recruiting.
Yeah,
Number one job is recruiting.
Always looking.
Always.
Always looking.
Yeah.
And
Just in
retaining.
case.
And retaining.
That as well as like vision. Always vision.
Yeah.
But it's constant.
Speaking of vision, what's next? Like, where are you guys going?
Where are you going?
So it's a great question. We continue our westward expansion. I'd like to eventually work our way into Westchester, Harrisburg, Pittsburgh. I'd really like to push across the state. They're about the Life Care Planning Law Firm Association. It's quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a trade organization for elder law firms or practices we do
Right.
with the care management, with the insurance advocacy, what we call integrated elder law.
Is there a lot of them though? Because
There's
there wasn't.
85 members.
Yeah, I was going to say there wasn't many
But
10 years ago.
There's probably 40 nationwide that really do it. Now, there's hundreds of elder law attorneys that will do that, the guys that I was.
Sure.
And they're great guys. They're fantastic lawyers. They're some of the best I know. I just felt that I was abandoning or not providing what my clients really needed or were coming to ask for.
Yeah.
So we want to continue growing on the care side. I want to increase our care management. We want to increase, like we have 2 death doulas on staff to help families navigate death. We have a certified dementia practitioner who helps families face dementia positively. Because dementia doesn't affect the person. It's like cancer.
Yeah.
It affects the whole family.
Whole family.
So we want to work with them in a positive way. And I really want to expand on the asset side. I want to have a CPA on staff to give our clients peace of mind that they have taxes, their taxes done.
Yeah.
But I really want to just
really
continue
smart.
growing to spread this practice. I don't know how it can be done without care coordinators.
Yeah.
Just even the Medicaid planners. First requirement for Medicaid, he's got to need care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go. I've coined the phrase a care illegal.
Yeah.
No one.
I love that.
Now, their reaction's the same as yours.
Yeah, we're not
It's
going
like,
to.
meh.
Well, it's interesting. We have
we
a
won't
friend of
steal
ours
it.
that started her own, decluttering business of the house. That she works a lot with elderly people who are moving in to assistant living and all too, because they don't know where to begin. It's overwhelming to them.
Yeah.
And to see what's happening. But it'd be interesting if you provided, just those angles of saying, hey, I have this for you, I have this. Be like a one-stop shop for all those resources.
And that's what we try. I mean, we rehome pets. We have clients that are moving. They have dogs or cats. We find new homes for them.
Yeah.
And this isn't like we woke up one morning and said, we have to develop a home or a pet rehoming business.
No, but you're saying it's the need.
The clients needed it.
Yeah.
So we figured it out. And I think we want to be their first call.
Totally.
And let us say we can't do it before you say, I don't think they can.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you're out there. I don't think a lot of people realize that. How do they get a hold of you?
Pick up the phone.
Okay.
215-546-5800. Go to the website. I mean, Google
What's
my
the
name.
website?
ROTHKOFFLAW.com, rothkopflaw.com.
Okay.
And we want to be a resource.
Yep.
You go on, I mentioned that book. You go on to the website, we have a resource box. It has, aside from, I think, a packet of tissues, everything is educational or a resource. Fill out the form. We'll send you the box at no charge, and you're not going to get spammed. You won't be on the newsletter unless you opt for it.
Right.
Why would you not want to be on the newsletter?
We have a great newsletter.
That's what I'm saying. It's stuff that not the average person is not thinking about this on a daily basis.
And we custom craft it. I know a lot of people hire they outsource their newsletters.
Yeah.
All of our
Is internal.
there's a song. It was in the '60s. I forget the name of it, but an Italian music artist, he wrote this song out of nonsense words to sound like an American pop song, and thinking that people don't care what the words are, they care how it makes them feel.
Absolutely.
And if you listen to this, your brain tries to make words out of it. It's all nonsense. I wrote this article about how there's so much meaning in the nonsense, particularly when you're dealing with Alzheimer's. Don't necessarily listen to the words, listen to the way they're saying the words.
Yeah.
That might help you interpret what your loved one is trying to say.
Yep.
And remember, they might not be able to understand what you're saying to them, but they'll know how your tone makes them feel. And this song, I think, tied in really nicely to it. And that was one of our blog posts. That was one of our articles. We're not just, it's not just garbage. It's not like a Sudoku and a crossword puzzle and call us when you need us.
Yeah. No, it's telling people how to be prepared.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when we met through Provisors, you were on a panel about long-term care insurance.
Yeah.
And here's me being like, what age does one need long-term care insurance? I'm like, what? And I think the answer is, I think the answer was like 50.
55, yeah.
55,
what I recommend, yeah.
And it's just things that you don't think about on a daily basis. So it's so interesting that I just think you're doing really great work.
We're going to miss
Get
you
the
in
right
Provisors.
insurance too.
Yeah, well,
the
that's the
right
thing. You have to be circumspect with all of these things. You have to be use a kind of a strident eye. This is going to get playfully offensive. Insurance agents are selling a product.
Sure.
They're being paid by the insurance company. So I see long-term care insurance policies come through that pay $1,500 a month. Yeah, that's helpful, but it's like a drop in a bucket.
Drop in a bucket.
So and sometimes I have people that are worth, let me be very clear, the bulk of my clients are blue collar. Net worth well under $500,000, including their house. So I want to be very clear on that. But we have clients occasionally that are worth 5, 10, 15 million. They have a long-term care insurance policy. They're self-insured. So you have to get the right advisor. You need the objectivity. And it's not necessarily me,
Right.
but you have your financial advisors looking at this to the right scope, your CPA and your elder law attorney before you just start stroking checks.
Right.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. All right, let's pivot. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about your practice?
No.
And the workforce?
I would love more people to get into this. People think elder law, even my classmates. So did you ever watch Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
Need a will, call McGill.
Yeah.
I'm into elder law now.
Yeah.
That's my friends think I do. Like they're sucking Jello cups, and all of a sudden it says Rothko Law Group on the bottom of the cup. They actually are convinced of that. Elder law is intensely crisis management. It's fast-paced. It's constant bouncing from one to the other. It's not contract review. It's not this. Every day is a different day. It's exciting. It's helpful. It's fulfilling. You're doing something that very few people are engaging in, and if you're financially motivated, the right practice will meet your financial motivations, and you can really do good work. It's just if you want to find meaning in what you're doing. I try litigation. Marcia, you sue Meghan. Meghan, you sue Marcia. You want $1 million. You want nothing. You sell in $500,000. Your lawyers go off and make their boat payments. Like everyone's just pissed off, except the lawyers.
But you just described specifically what sums up like HR consulting. That's everything you said right there. And it was like, it's constant fires. It's constant all of that stuff. I'm like, that sounds just like us.
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
I love
People
every day's
think HR,
different.
HR, like big wet blankets.
Yes.
They kill the vibe. We're sucking down beers here at, it's 1:45 in the morning. Doing HR after dark.
I know it.
Exactly. We're
a
actually
little
cool
light.
HR. That's why.
Yeah, that's right.
You should change the name.
Well, that is one of our
HR.
It's one of our slogans.
Cool
Is like
HR.
we're cool HR.
Yeah.
I'd
Has to
buy
be for
that
the
name.
right person, because not everybody wants cool HR.
No.
We
They're
don't.
like, don't even think HR until you need it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, where are you guys?
my sphincter does clench when I hear HR, so just like everyone else's does.
Well, we make it fun. We make it enjoyable. We like to laugh a lot as well.
Great group out here too.
We do have a great group out here.
They were so just so engaging and welcoming.
Yeah.
Like normally some
Everyone's so
stranger
cool.
walks in and be like, who's this?
No.
Oh, no.
They all get up.
They all
They're
get
like,
up and
let's
shake
talk.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And they really engaged. It wasn't just like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so back
Yeah.
to their desk. Like they wanted to talk and learn and share stories. It was great.
We work really hard on that.
Really hard on that.
It's
But
a
we
great
do have the best
culture.
people. Yeah.
Plus beer.
I'm like,
Beer.
well, we have that.
Espresso martinis.
And Kahlua.
So many snacks. Do you want a snack?
I'm good.
Okay. We got lots
I
of
thought you were going to say
snacks.
snow cones. I really did. That I would have.
We could do snow cones. I
We've
could see
never
that.
had a snow cone here.
We should do like
Man, if you had snow cones,
Our meat trip.
Yeah. Oh, we should do that on meat trip.
Got a snow
Yeah.
cone maker?
We're doing our meat trip on Friday. So
stop at a cone of ice on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe get a Slurpee.
Well, you know what? I have a margarita maker. We could probably make snow cones with that.
well, we're going on Friday to all those Amish farms. And
Well, you could just make margaritas. Like
we've done that
snow
here.
cone plus alcohol
it.
margarita.
A snow cone margarita.
We've done that here. Well, not the snow cone, but we've done margaritas
Or
here.
martini party.
Yeah, we had martini party in the summertime on the shore.
I'm sure. Remember
Wait, hang
last
on.
year?
July
I
11th.
can't find my invitation.
I invited you last year. Remember?
Wow.
Because you could remember
You want a
the
sticker
aisle?
for your jacket here? I'll put a sticker on you.
I need some aloe for that burn.
I was going to say the date, but I was like, I can't open it up to the whole.
They're all coming.
Everyone.
But it's
I'll come
Slurpee
this year.
day.
Yeah, because it's in Seattle.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great episode.
Thank you both, guys.
Thank
Thanks for being
you.
here. And good luck with everything. So keep up the good work.
Thank you again for joining us.
bet.
Awesome conversation. Until next time, I'm Megan.
And I'm Marcia. Thanks for listening. And have a great afternoon.